a good time?
Oh, look at those little baby angels. They are what's trending in true crime. Their mother faced a judge just days after she was accused of fatally shooting her 2 boys to death. 32-year-old Tiffanie Lucas is her name. That's her right there. Look at her. Charged with 2 counts of murder, appeared in a Kentucky courtroom Tuesday. She's accused of murdering her 6- and 9-year-old sons, those beautiful boys. Police say she shot them both in the head. How disgusting is that? Those 2 boys were found by a neighbor. They were covered in blood in the home that they shared with their mother, the person who was supposed to be protecting them. Those little slain siblings were rushed to a nearby children's hospital and sadly did not survive their injuries. And Lucas's Facebook page portrays her as a loving mother who just coordinated Star Wars-themed Halloween costumes for her and her boys. Look at this. There's a picture of them recently. As more details are coming out of her past, we're learning about a drug possession conviction. And our question this morning, how did she have custody of these kids? Let's bring in our guest now. I have with me in the studio law enforcement expert Sonny Slaughter, standing by remotely criminal defense and civil rights attorney Casey Early, and the state attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida, Dave Ehrenberg. Good morning to you all. I'm so happy to have you with us here on the show to discuss this very important and heartbreaking case. Sonny, I'd like to begin with you. Your thoughts on how in the world she had custody of those boys when we understand she had quite a checkered past.
Thank you for having me, Julie. I believe that there was absolutely a breakdown in our system when you think about Child Protective Services and law enforcement and the investigative process and what happened in this particular case that allowed her to have any physical custody and not just potentially supervised visitation. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just so hard to think about. And then you see the picture of them on Halloween and they look happy together and you think, how in the world can this happen? Casey Early, let me go to you next, please. Your take on this.
Good morning, Julie. This is absolutely heartbreaking. As a mother of 4, every time I hear about a parent killing their children, I could just never imagine how do they reach that point. And even looking at her social media, you would think that this was a happy life, they enjoyed time, but there was a message on one of her social media where she depicted that she didn't have help from the father of her children. There could be depression, signs of abuse, whatever the case may be. This is a hard and sad story for the children, but also for the family members, because there was a clip that the family said she had options. If she was really depressed, she could have reached out, and there was also an eviction notice left on the kitchen table, so it could be a host of issues why she chose to take this route.
Mm-hmm. Right, Casey. Dave Ehrenberg, last but certainly not least, your take on this case, please.
Yeah, Julie, this is so tragic. It's hard, though, to know at this point what the relationship there was on the other side with the father's family. There was a press conference afterwards with relatives of the father who were lashing out, saying, this is no accident. I mean, the excuse she made that it was an accidental death. You don't shoot a baby, a child, twice in the head and call it an accident, and then the other one gets shot too. So she lies. She obviously has drug addictions. As far as why she had custody, we just don't know what it was like on the other side, on the father's side, if he gave up custody or if there were issues over there. So at this point, it's probably premature. Although, look, it's not going to be the first time in a state that Child Protective Services screw up. It seems to be way too common in this age of budget cuts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Dave, appreciate it so much. Very well said. Now, we know there were some new details we learned in that Tuesday preliminary hearing for Tiffanie Lucas. Detective Richard Beal was the only witness of the day, and he testified about what Lucas told police after the shootings. Take a look.
I asked Miss Lucas if she meant to hurt her children, and she indicated that it was an accident. Quote, it was an accident, end quote. She also made some comments such as, quote, I'm in such a bad spot, end quote. Quote, I'm so stupid, end quote. End quote, I would never do anything like this, unless someone manipulated me, end quote.
Tragic details in such a tragic case. And the question we're asking this morning, do these crimes warrant the death penalty? We know that capital punishment is legal in the state of Kentucky, but won't apply if a person is deemed to be mentally ill by the court. Based on all the allegations we're hearing, should Tiffanie Lucas face the death penalty if she is convicted of these crimes? I want to turn back to my guests now and get their thoughts. Sunny Slaughter, let me go to you, please.
Emotionally, I want to say yes. But as a law enforcement expert, I need to keep the audience informed that facts and evidence matter, including a mental health evaluation and all of the circumstantial and confirmed evidence around this case. So we should not, we might have our opinions, but we need to be careful how we think about this particular case until we have all of the evidence available to us.
Right. I really like what you're saying here. We do need more facts. I wish we had more facts. And depending on which way this goes factually, whether there is zero evidence of mental illness that may warrant the death penalty versus if there is a whole different story. Casey or Early, back to you on this one. Your thoughts on whether or not prosecutors may make the decision to seek it. How do you see the case playing out, please?
Well, I believe that those initial incriminating statements may be used as aggravating factors because initially it doesn't appear to be a mistake, as my colleague stated. She was better off not saying anything. That way the defense can properly prepare a better defense theory in this case. So that may go against her as an aggravating factor, but of course there could be mitigating factors. Yes, she had a history of drug abuse, but she didn't really have a significant violent criminal history, and she was the primary caretaker of the boys and then had a long span of no criminal history. So she may have substantial mitigating factors that can outweigh any aggravating factors for the death penalty.
I love you bringing this up, Casey. You're right. It is a balancing test, most certainly. Dave Ehrenberg, to you next, please. You certainly know what a weighty decision it is for a state attorney's office any time to make that decision. Talk to us about some of the things that the office is going to go through in the coming weeks to gather that information in order to make the proper call.
We look at the aggravators versus the mitigators. And as Casey said, it doesn't look like she has an extensive criminal record. Plus, if there's mental health issues, if there are drug addiction issues, it's less likely they'll be able to get the death penalty. It doesn't mean they won't seek it. I mean, this is a horrific case about two especially vulnerable individuals who were murdered. And so as such, it's going to be on the table. But in the end, we should be frank, it's very difficult to get the death penalty on a woman who kills her kids. It's very unlikely. Jurors do not like to impose a death penalty on women. It's just a reality of the criminal justice system.